common problems with 88 to 98 GMT400 Chevy Silverado, GMC Sierra K1500. This has 210,000 on it. We've owned it since new. It's original engine and transmission. So this has had the common thing with the Vortec is the intake manifold gasket will start deteriorating and your truck will start eating antifreeze. Antifreeze will slowly disappear and the leak is internal. It'll usually enter the combustion chamber instead of the crankcase oil. So that's a common problem on the Vortec engines. Air conditioning leaks is also common. This will leak here. There's some O-rings, or the Schrader valves will leak. You can get this whole assembly, or you can just replace the O-rings or the Schrader valves. Another common problem is the windshield washer circuit board. The windshield wiper circuit board. Your wipers will intermittently work. They'll get frozen, or they won't even turn on. And you can just take this circuit board out and reflow the solder, or get a new circuit board. I just reflowed the solder, and this one's been fine. The transmission is known if you tow and don't have a transmission temp gauge, then your transmission will easily, you won't know if it's overheated, and that will destroy it. This does have the factory tow package. You can see the transmission cooler right here. Another common problem is the paint. This has been repainted, but the paint will start to peel off and you will just see the primer. I think all brands had that problem in the 90s. The GM 10-bolt axle, rear axle, is known to be weak. This has the larger 14-bolt axle out of the 2500s, but with the 6-lug bolt pattern. Another common problem is door sagging. These doors are really heavy. Usually your door pins, they'll get loose. You can check that by grabbing the door at the bottom and seeing if there's any movement. This one's had the pins replaced, so it's tight. And what'll happen is this won't line up with the door striker there. This one's pretty good. You can get a tool that goes in between here, and then you can tweak the door to get it aligned with the striker. Another common problem is the factory gauges. If you get a vibration when you turn the gauges on, or if your gauge is inaccurate, you need a new stepper motor or just a whole new cluster. It's common for the radio knobs to crack. They still work. You can just see a little cracking there. Another common problem is if your fan speeds quit working. Usually it's this control panel. It could be the resistor. If your fan only works on high, it's probably the resistor, which is you take the blower motor cover off. But if you're losing just one fan speed but the other ones work, it could be this control panel is common for going out. Steering, 97, 98, and the 99 classic body style had speed sensitive steering. So when you're in parking lots, you would have an over boosted condition for easy steering, and on the highway an under boosted condition. And there's a sensor in the steering column that will go bad. So if you have over boosted steering on the highway where it's really touchy, you probably need a sensor inside the column replaced. There's also a connection underneath the hood on the power steering pump. Let's see if we can see that. If that is corroded or dirty, that can mess with your... Yeah, you can see a wire behind there. So make sure that's connected. This still has the factory. If you can disconnect the power steering sensor, and it'll just default to the under boosted or over boosted. If it's acting up, you can try disconnecting that sensor. The exhaust manifolds on this has headers, but the factory exhaust manifolds, if you take those off, they will warp. So when you try to get them back on, they're gonna be a little bit out of alignment, and you get to do a lot of prying to get them lined up. Well, I went with headers on this for more performance. Another common problem is the ABS will quit working. Usually it's a wheel speed sensor. Sometimes this module the ABS computer can go bad. Or if there's air in the system, if you replaced your master cylinder and you got air in the system, you have to bleed this ABS computer with a GM Tech tool. If you don't, most people don't have that. There is a bleed port right here. You pull this cover off and you can bleed the brakes there. Or I raise the truck all four wheels off the ground, put it in four-wheel drive, and then accelerate up to 20 miles an hour or 30, and then hit the brakes, and it'll cycle the ABS pump to get the air out of your brakes. All right, those are the big problems that I know about. Thanks for watching.